All right. Welcome back on this show, Rise Today, Biashara Tuesday, on this 11th of February 2025. Just as I mentioned earlier, it is a day where women internationally are celebrated, women in science internationally are celebrated, and we are going to have that conversation. But before that, let me just have a quick feedback from our socials. Asachi Ash says, good morning, Sylvia. Looking forward to seeing what Biashara Tuesday has in store for us this morning. There's quite a lot, Asachi, that is in store for us this morning, including this discussion that you're going to have in just a bit on women in leadership. There are women who came before us, who paved way for our success, and what we are enjoying right now as women aspiring to be in leadership spaces, both in the corporate world, in politics, in business. That is what we are going to talk about today. There's a lot of challenges that that women are facing, especially young women, because this morning I'm joined by Consolata, Waweru, who is a youth leader in Laikipia County. And she's going to be telling us her experience on what she has faced as she tries to climb the ladder in politics as a leader in the political world, what she's facing, the challenges she's undergoing, and also give you hope as a young person or as a grown-up who is trying to navigate your way through the leadership spaces, especially in politics. And also, before we continue, there is, we have just received an update that a road accident involving 3 vehicles at Kahawa Sukari inaongeza jam sana hapo. Now, this is something that is quite unfortunate because it's 7:58, and by the time we were giving you updates on the roads, it was the pressure or the traffic was already piling. So this is unfortunate. If you can use other routes, like if you can go through Kamiti Road, through the Northern Bypass, or through Utawala and enter through the other route to town, that will be fine, because an accident in the morning, the rush hour, this is 8 a.m., it is unfortunate. So this is something that you need to have in mind. So use other routes, and that's why KUTV Biashara Tuesday is here to keep you informed and keep you updated so that usichelewe kazi, huwezi chelewa kazi when we're here. Now, right on to the discussion that we are having this morning. Consolata is already with us here. Thank you so much for making time for us this morning.
Thank you so much. I am happy to be here again. This is not my first time here, and I appreciate to come here once again. And thank you so much. I'm looking forward to a fruitful discussion with you.
It will be fruitful because,
Yes.
you know, KUTV Biashara Tuesday, this is where the juice is. This is where we move.
Sure.
Now, I understand that for the number of times that you've been here with us in studio, you've been telling us you aspire to be women rep in Laikipia County.
Yes.
It is not easy for the older generation. How are you managing it as a young person?
Okay, thank you so much. I think I'll start by greeting my viewers in this country and even abroad. I am Consolata Waweru. I am a 4th-year student in Kenyatta University, and I am also a student leader and also a youth leader in my county, that is Laikipia County, and also looking forward to vie as a woman representative in Laikipia County come 2027. So on to your question, I think what drives me is the change I want to see in Laikipia, because honestly, we have become a county that is used to recycling leaders. And you find that we are not doing anything constructive, really. And sometimes I look at our county and I see huge potential, but unfortunately, we don't have leaders who have the urge to tap into that potential. And of course, you saw that during the Gen Z demonstration, that as the young people, we went to demonstrate and great changes were seen in the country. So that has been a drive that has been within me since childhood, I think from birth, because I am a firstborn in a family of 3, so I was born a leader.
You were born a leader. That is quite interesting. Most people mention their mothers as their role models. You mentioned that you have had a passion in leadership.
Yes.
You have had a zeal of seeing this change.
Yes.
Who is this person that has inspired you all this while?
Okay, thank you so much, Sylvia. I have a lot of women I look up to, but I have even women in my life, and even my mom, she has played a very big role in nurturing me, in encouraging me. I remember when I joined in university, my mom would encourage me and tell me, you know, vie for those leadership roles. She would really insist, and she would really come in a very, very big way in terms of finances and all that. And I really thank her. But when it comes to the national level and even international level, I look at the late Wangari Maathai. I have read her book, and through her book I was able to understand the struggles she went through as a woman. And remember, during her time, the society was highly patriarchal. And a woman in leadership was seen as a taboo. And for her, she really stood to her ground, to a point that she even experienced a very messy divorce that was in the limelight. You can imagine having a divorce case that is being discussed on national TVs, national radio. So everyone is discussing about you. When you go to church, everyone is turning their heads to look at you. But she stood to the ground, and already you can see the things she has done, the legacy she has left behind. It is still alive up to date. And I think I also look up to Gathoni Wamushoba. I know you know her. You know, I used to listen to Gathoni when I was a small girl. She was in media some time back, and I would listen to her. I never knew that one day she would be in leadership and in political space. And I have looked at her, and I see that she's one who stands to her ground and you know, she's unapologetic about her stand. If she chooses to go to a certain direction, nothing shakes her. She has to move to that direction. Yes.
Okay, very interesting. I thought you'd mention Millie, because most girls mention Millie as their role model when she says, you know, bad girl Millie, good nice girls don't get the corner office, all this narrative about being tough. And when she talks in parliament, she's aware that her voice is going to be used on social media. And she says she's creating jobs. So she is someone who is looked up to. And right now, actually, we want to see the battle between her and Osoro on whether they're going to fight for that minority whip position. But this is a question to our viewers. So who is your role model? There are so many people who are role models. She has mentioned Wangari Maathai. That is someone who was before us, maybe even when she was not aware of leadership, understanding deeply what leadership is, but is someone she's looking up to. So who is your leader? Send us those feedback and let us know who your leader is and why her. What character does she have that makes you think that she is your role model? Now, Consolata, you mentioned that when they were beginning their leadership journey, they faced so many social barriers that includes a society where women are perceived to be taking care of the children, nurturing the children, and education was not something that was so popular among women by then, but they shaped it and pushed through the barriers. So the leadership in the current generation is changing. So there are some of the challenges that we are facing. But what is your perspective about how leadership, how women leadership is being embraced in our country today and in the world in general?
Okay, I think we have really improved. I was looking at the statistics, and in 2022, the number of women who got into Senate, National Assembly, and even the governor position was at 7%. I think that was in 2017. And then in 2022, an increase, and it was at 11%. So I believe in 2027, even the rise of Gen Z, there will be a massive change. And I think we have made progress as a country. I think it is good to say that. Already we have 7 governors. We have the famous G7. We have a number of member of parliaments elected. We also have the woman representative position through the affirmative action, the 2/3 gender rule. I think we have made progress as a country. Honestly, we cannot compare ourselves to Wangari Maathai when they were starting. Although some of the challenges they faced, we still face them up to date. And there are so many. I don't know if I can go to one of them.
Now, just because you are a young person in leadership, maybe you can tell us about the challenges you're facing as you try to push yourself through this political space.
Okay, honestly, one challenge I think I have faced, Sylvia. You know, there's a problem with our society, and I feel they do not believe in the young people as much. They still don't have confidence in us. And I have experienced this. Sometimes I face a lot of criticism. And then I find my competitors who are older, maybe who are 40 plus, they are not experiencing the criticism as much as I am. So sometimes I ask myself, is it because I am a young person? You find that people really don't believe in you. You know, watu wanakuona kama we ni mtoto. You know, they think you are a kid, and they ask themselves, so what are you bringing on the table? And to add on it, being a lady, and a young lady for that matter, you are perceived differently from a young man. You see, some will say that, oh, you know, when you get there, you get a huge person to finance you. You know, they don't believe that you can do this by yourself without maybe some extra factors. They believe that there must be a God Papa somewhere.
Talking of godfathers.
Yes. They believe that you must have a godfather somewhere who is pushing you through. They believe that somebody somewhere is financing you. And because of that narrative, I think the society plays a huge role when it comes to embracing or not embracing. And I think the Gen Z demonstrations are enough to show the society that we are capable as the young people, you know, as young ladies. Imagine, as a result of the Gen Z demonstration, finance bill was dropped. Some reshuffle in cabinet was witnessed. Have you ever seen that, Sylvia? Yes.
So you mentioned about being a young person in leadership, and also being a woman in leadership.
Yes.
You know, often we hear stories of, I don't know if I should use a layman's language,
Yes.
that this lady alipewa nomination because any girlfriend was so and so.
Yes.
So it is something that, is it, to your own experience, is it something that is common in the political space?
Yes, there is this term they call flower girls. I know you have heard of that. In fact, woman reps are terms as flower girls that, you know, they are only there to fill the you know, the space, just to be seen in parliament. They believe that these people don't have a voice, they don't have a role. Well, I don't blame them. Sometimes the behavior of these women who get there sometimes is not convincing. And I tell the society, sometimes it's not just about women, but also let us look at competency. Competency is key in all these things. You cannot just elect somebody, or you cannot just nominate somebody because she's a woman. But look at her competency level. Is she able to, you know, run the role? Is she able to perform the duties as expected? So I believe that, yes, that narrative is there. And sometimes you see these party positions, or I think they are 12 now in number. They represent the youth, maybe the special needs. Sometimes that is awarded to you maybe because of the fight or what they have seen you doing. For example, maybe you have been advocating for the youth, for the jobs, for the equality. Maybe you have been advocating for, you know, those who are able differently to get jobs, or you have been, you know, advocating policies about them. So they feel that nominating you in that position will put you in a pedestal where your voice is even heard more. Yes.
And how bad is the competition between leaders who are competent and those who are, let's say, flower girls? How hard, how stiff is that competition to get nominated?
Okay, the competition is stiff because I would say even in terms of elections, let us start from the elections where these leaders go to the ground, they sell their manifestos. You find that for some reasons, people are not keen to listen what this person is offering. You know, in terms of their manifesto, or in terms of the promises they make to the people. But instead you find that they will elect you because you are giving them some money. You know, and probably you don't have that money. For example, as a young person, I have not even yet completed campus. Where do you expect me to get the money from? So now when I come to you, maybe I am candidate A, and then there's candidate B. Candidate A is competent. they have the right manifestos, they seem to know what the role is about, and then candidate B, probably they seem to know, but they are not very much aware, they are not even sure of themselves, but they have money. So you find that people go to the one who has money, and then, you know, now when they get in there, now, because this person was not there for leadership, this person will be a flower girl eventually. That one is automatic.
So it's a drive that comes from within.
Yes.
So most of the time, women tend to have a victim mentality that it's because of a woman, that's why this is happening to me. And I think sometimes that is what pushes them to being flower girls, because there is need for approval, there is need to be taken care of. That's where this saying of nice girls don't get the corner office comes from. So what do you think about the women playing victims when it comes to leadership? Does it take extra effort for women to get into the spaces, or is it just the same for as of men?
It is not the same. It is good to be honest. It takes extra effort. And I would like to tell you this, the grounds are not the same. You see, the society, in most societies, sometimes the narrative is highly patriarchal. For example, maybe you are vying in a certain community. Sometimes you need to get approval from the elders. And sometimes they really don't believe in women leadership, okay? So now you find that the ground for a male candidate and a female candidate, you find that people tend to believe in the male candidate more than the female candidate. In fact, you find that they experience violence more. I know you have seen cases of cyberbullying. It is still happening, especially in this era of digital age. So now people have resorted to cyberbullying, you see? So you are bullied online, and stories are made about you. And you find that people say, you know, there is a godfather somewhere. You are in prostitution, you know, you are a husband snatcher. Those are some of the words they use to attack you. And sometimes I wonder why they really focus on our personal lives as women. And you find on the other side, the male counterparts, no one really cares whether he has 2 wives, 3 wives. In fact, he has seen as, you know, he's victorious. But for a lady, they really want to dig deep and know, you know, who is your husband? Who are you dating? Who is your boyfriend? Who
And
is this?
I guess that's why there's a time, is it Millie?
Yes.
She was saying in Parliament, I think it was Kimani attacking him.
Yes.
And she was really defending herself about her private life and saying it's none of the concern.
Yes.
So it's something that is quite happening a lot. So you've talked about the challenges women face in politics.
Yes.
So there's also these women who are not interested in politics and they're watching us right now.
Yes.
So they want to understand as a woman, how am I going to navigate these spaces from just being a basic worker to being in the boardroom to being, because leadership is not just in politics. There are those in businesses, there are those in organizations, NGOs, and everything, all that. So what do you think about the efforts that it takes for women to get into, to be elevated in their positions?
Fast forward, you have to believe in yourself. That goes without saying. You don't expect people to believe in yourself, in you, when you yourself, you know, you seem to have doubts about yourself. Sometimes I tell women, you know, anytime you stand up for yourself, you are standing up for millions of women out there who are watching you silently, but they keep going because of your confidence. So I would tell every lady out there, whether in business, I have ladies who are in business, in the corporate world, in the science sector, and today we recognize the International Day of Women in Science. We really applaud them, the women in science. I say that just be confident, believe in yourself. Sometimes you just have to, you know, just declare. For example, I have already declared that I'll be in the ballot in 2027. But I can tell you for sure, Sylvia, from where I'm standing, I'm not so sure about everything. But as we go along the way, I know I will learn and I'll eventually get there. Don't wait until you know it all. That time is never coming. You have to stand up for yourself, and then the rest will come.
I heard one speaker say that start right now, early enough for you to have time to fail, so that when the right time comes, you're already having the experience.
Sure.
So most of the time, there's the women in leadership. Most of them are perceived to be making decisions out of emotions. Like, yes, when they come to the table, the discussion tables, the boardrooms, the Senate, they push for education agendas, they push for affirmative actions, they push for inclusivity.
Yes.
They push for all these things, but most of the time they are viewed to be making decisions based on their agenda, and sometimes it's tied to their cycle. You know, there's that phase where you're so moody.
Yes.
There's that phase where you're happy.
Yeah.
So most of the time it is tied to their emotions.
Yes.
What do you think about this perspective of women being perceived to be making decisions based on emotions?
Yes, I think that is nature. Men use logic, and then in most cases women use emotions. And you remember a certain scenario between Honorable Millie Odhiambo and Honorable Kaluma, and Millie Odhiambo was really defending herself and saying that it was not her wish that she doesn't have kids, that God made her that way. And I would really see that she was saying that with a lot of emotions, and she really meant it. I think I would like to defend women because the reason why we use emotions, for example, women, and they are mothers. So we understand the pain of a child. And so anytime I'm introducing a bill in parliament concerning women, concerning children, I'll be emotional about it because I feel the pain. I literally feel the pain. So for you to so that I convince even the men, I have to be emotional about it.
Do you think that is jeopardizing the whole point? Because sometimes leadership is about logic. Like, this thing is what needs to be done. No emotions, no nothing. Do you think that is a barrier that women set for themselves in leadership?
Not really. Using emotions is part of your feminine power. Sometimes you use it to get what you want, and sometimes just be feminine to get what you want. It is okay to use emotions to push for the right agendas, but don't use emotions to push for the wrong things. For example, insulting others, I think no, that one is. But when I'm pushing for something in parliament, especially concerning the kids, the marginalized communities, I'll be emotional. In fact, I'll even cry. So that you get the seriousness of the matter.
So yes. It is about balancing between being a woman and the nature itself, being feminine and feminine. They say that feminine rules over masculinity. So it's just the nature. So we can say it's just about nature.
Sure.
So in your own view, have you faced such criticism that wewe toka hapa, toa emotions zako hapa? Have you faced such a first-hand experience?
I would not say I have not faced that really, but I have faced other challenges such as cyberbullying. There was a time, sometimes politics can be petty, and sometimes people look for the pettiest reason to attack you. And I remember I sent a poster in one of the groups. As a starter in politics, when you are starting these things, sometimes you're not aware of some of these things. You learn along the way. And then my poster had Laikipia County logo. And then people attacked me out of that, and they said, look at you, you're even vying, and you even don't know the purpose of the county logo. You have not read the IEBC guidelines. They make you feel as if you are an academic dwarf. You don't know what you are doing. They say that some of you are vying, but you really don't know what you are going for. I've also received a comment some time back. Somebody told me that, if I'll support you if you have a husband. And if you're married, yes. I'll
That
support
is
you.
that is a blow.
That is what I'm telling you.
But
Kuja
that is
ground.
also a thing
Yeah.
for men, because
Sure.
most of these positions, the men are always told, if you can't have a family to
Sure.
lead, that means you cannot
You
lead us.
can-
So it's something that is quite on both sides. But what do you think about that idea of you have to have a spouse or you have to be married from both ends, like from the gents and from do you think leadership takes you to have a spouse, you have to have a spouse for you to be in leadership?
Not really. I don't think that is not a requirement. And in fact, even in the constitution, I have not seen any requirement that you need to have a spouse so that you go for a certain position. If anything, even if I have a spouse, he will not have much contribution to what I'm doing. He will not be in parliament representing the people of Laikipia. I will be in parliament. I will be interacting with my people, not him. And therefore, let us not pressure people, especially the young people. Please give us space, at least to even discover ourselves. Some of these things you need to get into marriage when you know yourself fully. So stop pressuring us for the sake of the society image. And that is where sometimes women go wrong. Not even women, even male aspirants, that you do something so that you get approval from watu kwa ground. And deep down, you know that this is not the right thing for me. So who will get affected in the end? At the end, it is you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that we are still on women and the marital status of men and women, I have had these sentiments from a lot of women that, especially that my husband or my boyfriend
Yes.
is jealous of me.
Yes.
As we are created naturally,
Yeah.
men are supposed to be leaders. So as women want to take, like for example, let's say you are a CEO of an oil company.
Sure.
Your basic salary is in millions.
Yeah.
And maybe your husband does not receive that. So most of the time, men retaliate to using other forms of force
Sure.
to maybe tame you, maintain you. Just the other day when we were going home, we were talking, the driver told me that, Sylvia, you look like you have money. And it will take you a long time to find a husband.
Yes.
And I was like, why?
Uh-huh.
And he says it's because ladies who have money or ladies who are able, they tend not to listen to their husband. So there is that aspect of women being in powerful positions, but then it defies the law of nature of men being the head, because it will be that way, whether we like it or not, whether we have feminists telling us this or that, it will be that. Men will still be leaders, and ladies will still be required to submit. So what do you think about this idea of men being jealous of their successful women?
Well, Sylvia, you just read my mind. I had a conversation with a group of male friends on Saturday. They are my very good friends, and I'm sure some of them are watching. And we had this conversation, and I was asking them, why would you feel discriminated, or why would you feel not even discriminated, intimidated by a lady who knows what she wants? Who knows what she's going for, maybe who has potential. And sometimes I feel men who do that have self-esteem issues, honestly. If you feel intimidated by a woman, I think check at yourself, look at yourself, have a look at yourself, interrogate yourself. I think that is an issue of self-esteem. I have received these comments severally. I remember there is one person who asked me, now that you want to join politics, are you sure you get a husband? Are you sure you manage marriage? I have received that question a number of times. And by the way, Sylvia, these are some of the stereotypes that make women fear get into these positions. Sometimes they fear risking. So they are like, now if I get into politics, that means I will never get a husband until 40s. I will never do this, I will never do that. Sometimes you sacrifice a lot. As I told you, Sylvia, when you stand up for yourself, you are standing up for other millions of women who are looking at you, who are literally admiring what you do. And yes, these are, I have also had people telling me, you know, unakaa pesa. Hey, where, you know, I remember asking another friend that I don't know why people feel intimidated by me. And he told me, but you are, that I'm intimidating. I'm like, no, I think the reason why men feel intimidated is because they have not accepted that women can be leaders, that they can lead in the corporate space, in the religious space, they can lead in the political space. Once you accept that, and then you accord her the necessary support, she will submit to you. There will be no
Necessary
problem
support.
in, yes, yes. When
I
you
know
accord me the necessary support, and when I talk of support, does not mean financial, even emotional. You tell me that keep doing what you're doing, you're doing good. You know, emotional support goes a long way, and women require that more than financial support.
Do you know what it takes for you to have that? Let me ask you a question that I know
Yes.
you least expected me to ask. I'm asking the question that you have been asking you don't like.
Yeah.
Do you think you will survive marriage? Because as a leader, you work extra hours,
Yes.
you take extra calls.
Yes.
Most of the time you get to the house, you're tired. So often you will have your maid do everything for you.
Yes.
And most reasons why men marry is because they want someone to take care of them also. So do you think you'll survive marriage?
Oh, yes. I believe, and that is why, that's another reason why I'm in politics. I want to demystify the myth that a woman in politics cannot have a functioning marriage. Yes, Sylvia, please remind me when I get into parliament. You remember this interview, me telling you that I'll have a good husband and a supportive one for that matter, and even good children. I believe in God. And if I believe in God, He will accord me the necessary support through that man. He will help me reach my destiny.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, moving forward, what is your aspiration for leadership, women in leadership? What do you see to be the talk, maybe the counter challenges? Let's say just hapa karibu 2030. What is the future? What does the future look like?
The future looks promising. It looks encouraging. I like it that people are now empowered. You know, really, this is not the era of Wangari Maathai. This is not the era of, you know, Moi era, Kenyatta era. Things have really changed, and the future is promising. I like it that people are now embracing women. And I believe that the steps we are taking, I know that even by 2030, I know more women who get into science, they will get into politics, the so-called male-dominated fields. Now you see women are really taking up those roles very seriously. Yeah, the future looks promising, and I am happy to be part of that future.
What do you think should be done differently in terms of legal framework, the policies that revolve around leadership? What do you think needs to... I understand there are affirmative actions both internationally and locally, that the two-third gender rule and all that. But what do you think needs to be done differently to encourage more women into the leadership spaces, and what needs to be done for that to be implemented?
Okay, what needs to be done, Sylvia? I think when we look at the political parties in Kenya, we still have a problem. You find that most of them really don't embrace female candidates as much. And in fact, the ladies' wing or the young or the ladies' league is not that functional in most political parties. I think for you to excel in any political space, you must have a supportive party and a supportive party leader. I believe if we go that direction and we have party leaders who embrace women, and not only women, but young women who are very green in that space, you accord them the necessary support. If there are finances, then you give them the finances. If there is what we call mentorship, you mentor them, because mentorship is really important more than anything else. And of course, without taking advantage of these young girls, because Millie Odhiambo has addressed that in her book. She has addressed that their political
Which
parties
book?
before Rig or Be Rigged. Yeah, that is a book she recently launched. I think, was it last year? Yeah, it's a wonderful book. I would encourage any young leader, you know, a female politician, a young female leader who feels that she wants to get into this space, please read that book. It's a book that will make you question you. As I was telling you, Sylvia, I read that book and asked myself, do I really want to be here? Am I sure of what I'm doing? You know, to make you informed, really. So she has addressed that, and she has said that that is a problem that cuts across. You find that sometimes you win an election, you win a party election, but they do not accord you the ticket. Instead, sometimes it's given to a male candidate. You know, they undermine you. I feel if the political parties embrace women and the young women, and the women leagues should be functional, I think will be good to go. Yeah.
And I think that is also why there's so many women self-help groups that are coming up,
Sure.
which is quite important for young women or just women to join and find support and warmth from the fellow women. Now, coming on to the media,
Yeah.
what do you think the media should do to support leadership and demystify all these myths about women being part of the leadership spaces?
Oh, that's a good question, Sylvia. What you're doing is really good. You are encouraging young leaders out there, more specifically the female leaders. I think the media should bring about these stories of successful female leaders who are there. You know, you just have such forums, such discussions, and you hear them live. You bring about the experiences, and also you should bring about the testimonials. For example, you go to a certain county and you look at what that female governor has done. You feature, so that will encourage people. Oh, so these female leaders are doing something. I think that is what the media needs to do. Yeah, you
Okay.
need to interview these leaders and bring them on board.
So societal and cultural norms are the biggest barriers
Yeah.
hindering women to get into leadership. So to help someone who is at home, who wants to venture or who wants to be a leader, maybe you can help us know what has worked for you and how you overcome those challenges.
Well, challenges are always there, but I would encourage you, just find a support system. Personally, my family is very supportive. My family is my number one support system. They are my cheerleaders, and even most of my friends who are around me, they really support my vision, and even my classmates, they really cheer me up. You know, when you lack a support system, even if it is just one person cheering you, that is enough to propel you forward. But you can imagine a situation where you are alone. You know, we say no man is an island. You need people to sell your vision to people. Of course, you never lack somebody telling you, yes, you are doing the right thing. Yes, keep going. I've received comments and in my inbox, people telling me, even if we don't comment, even if we don't like, we see what you do and we believe in you, keep going. And I'm telling you, such comments light up my morning. They keep me going.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
There is always wanasema, if you look at what you post, you may have 100,000 views
Sure.
and 10 likes.
Sure.
So you just keep what you're doing because they are watching.
It's true.
So there is politics, there is business,
Yeah.
there is education, there is societal issues. What do you think is the biggest area that you see it going to succeed in the coming years in terms of women occupying the spaces in leadership?
I think one area is, I think, let's say, I don't want to be specific on one area, but business, education, and politics. I think this is a field where, and even science, this is a field where women are really being so aggressive, and I like it. And I would encourage any young leader, a female leader who is there. You might not have the passion for politics like me, but you have the passion of improving, you know, some of the policies in the education sector. Work towards that. Work and rise to the top and even become a CS for education. Work and rise, you know, becoming a a very big force in the field of business and even in the field of science. We need inventions from you people. Yeah.
And what do you think, as we conclude,
Yeah.
what do you think is the solution to women having victim mentality when it comes to taking up spaces?
I think that sometimes as a young woman, really, you need to be aware that there will be challenges, there will be criticism. Sometimes there's what we call constructive criticism. Sometimes in this journey, you are not aware of, sometimes you do a wrong thing. Sometimes you not be right all the time. It is good to accept the mistakes, you learn from them, and also listen to people, and don't undermine people. Don't say that I will not listen to that boda guy, he does not seem to know what he's doing. Please listen to him. Listen to anyone who comes your way, who feels that they have something good they want to offer you. I think for me, Sylvia, what keeps on encouraging me, I listen to all people, to from all walks of life, farmers, boda guys, those who are selling mitumbas. I want to hear their views, their opinions. And sometimes you find that these are your biggest cheerleaders more than anything else. So I'll tell women, stop adopting that victim mentality. Stop pity-patting yourself. It is time to rise up. This is like a battlefield. We say no retreat, no surrender. Yeah.
It is like a battlefield.
Yeah.
No retreat, no surrender. And also another thing that I will also like to add, in this, especially for corporates,
Yeah.
most of the time you are told, don't dress your age.
Sure.
You know, when you're 22, 23, 24,
I'm actually
25.
22.
22? Oh, interesting. You feel like, mimi nayo Mungu aliniumba, you know, and you want to get into spaces dressed in a certain way.
Sure.
You want to have all your assets showing. And without knowing, you get into those spaces. And I'm not saying that we are blaming the victim, but in one way or another, you make people view you sexually according to how you've dressed. So you're entering a space, you may be going for an interview, you have your chest showing, you have maybe your thighs are out, you have, you know, like so much of your body is showing up, and you've gone for an interview. Hata mimi ningekuwa mwanaume kidogo
Unachanganyikiwa.
kidogo nitakwambia, you know, you can get this job, you know, you can get this, you know, you need to only, you know. So sometimes as women, we sabotage our own success as leaders. You are talking to someone and then you're telling him or her that unaniambia hivyo because mimi ni mwanamke. You know, that was not in that person's mind, but the fact that you're mentioning it, you jeopardize your own success as a woman. So this is my part away as we conclude this show, that as a woman also, there are times that you need to act like a man. Like you need to behave like a man.
Sure.
It's unfortunate. It is the hard truth and harsh truth that sometimes we don't need the femininity that you want to show us. Sometimes it is a battle. You need to fight for it. Toa hisia zako, toa feelings, toa emotions, and use logic. Just as we conclude, please share with our viewers any advice you'd like to give, especially to the upcoming generation. You are 22, so you resonate with a lot of people, both the young ones and the older ones. So just give us a parting shot and the advice that you would give them.
Okay. I think I would like to address first the issue of dressing. I think when it comes to these spaces, please dress decently. That earns you respect. And especially when you're going to interact with people kwa ground. Umeenda pale unaongelesha mama mboga, you know, you need to resonate with them. And sometimes these are people who are old enough to be your father, to be your mother. So you need to let them, you know, feel that you are a good person, that you are fit for the job. And remember, your first impression is always the lasting impression. So sometimes it's good to dress decently. Yes, and be comfortable. Yeah, and I believe that you earn the respect. I think also I want to advise the young people out there. I would like to address those who have doubts. Probably you have an idea, or you have this idea in mind for so long and you don't know how to go about it. You are in doubt, unajiuliza nianze saa hii ama nikaekae ningoje miaka 5. I would tell you, please, the right time to start is now. You figure out the rest of the things along the way. And finally, Sylvia, allow me to talk to the great people of Laikipia. I know they are watching me, and I would just like to tell them something. I would like to appreciate them so much. They have given me that platform. Thank you so much for believing in me, for believing in my vision, being a first timer and very green in Laikipia politics. I want to appreciate your support, your comments. I have received so many messages from you telling me that I am doing the right thing. I'll keep showing up for you people. And something else, it is time as the people of Laikipia, we do away with the leaders. We have been recycling leaders, and truly there are no changes. We have not seen any changes. I think it is time in 2027, let us pave way for the young leaders to come in so that we explore the potential in Laikipia. Let us pave way for new blood in Laikipia so that we achieve our full potential. And finally, asanteni sana, and thank you so much for your support. Thank you.
Very much in order. And you have a lot of support from our social media platforms. Comments are streaming in. Joram Kimani says, hello KUTV, say hi to Consolata. Hi Consolata.
Hi.
Nimefikisha salamu. I'm tuned in on Biashara Week, and we have Francis Washirui saying, Wairimu Consolata, the Iron Lady from Laikipia. Huyu ni Mama Simba.
Thank you.
You have quite support. And also we have Rachel Wambui Gitonga said, proud of my daughter watching from Rumuruti, Laikipia County.
That's my mom.
Very interesting.
Yes.
You have quite a support, and we can say that she's one of the Iron Ladies that is supporting you.
Sure. She's a blessing.
So we also have another one right here from Rachel Wambua. Her only weakness is not wearing makeups. Arimis is her favorite from the time she was on diapers. That's your mom, I guess.
Yes, I don't use makeup. But it's not that I hate makeup. I don't know really what is my problem. I just feel I'm comfortable in my own skin.
Okay. Your mom anakuanika hapa kwa mtandao. But it's fine. Thank you, Mom, for tuning in with Consolata this morning. So to our viewers back at home, this is On the Lounge with Consolata Waweru. She's a youth leader in Laikipia County, aspiring to be women representative come 2027. Now, that is our conversation on women in leadership. Coming next is the discussion on Biashara Tuesday. There's quite a lot that is happening. We have stories of parliament, who is the majority, who is the minority. We have the allegations of we might be having fake goods in the country because apparently KRS stamps were stolen. And that is just among so many discussions that we'll be having. And I will be joined by Calvin Benson, who is a journalist, and also Ojuang Mariam, who is one of our very own right here on KUTV. So before we get that, we are taking a very short break. Stay with us.